So, you've seen us torture the Honor X9b and it proved to be a real tank. But how good and usable it is as a regular smartphone? Let's find out. So since the breakout from Huawei, we have seen Honor making incredibly good-looking mid-range devices, and while there's still a close resemblance to one of Huawei's older smartphones, it is pretty dope to see how Honor has managed to bring a premium-looking design down to a sub 1500 ringgit device. The orange vegan leather bag makes no sense to put on the case because it offers such a good grip that you don't even need to care about smudges and fingerprints. The gold bezel on the camera bump feels really nice and as if you can rotate it like a watch bezel. And it is very impressive to see how slim the phone is despite packing a really big 5800 mAh battery. The Honor X9b has one of the best displays we have seen on a similar class device. It pushes more pixels than a Full HD Plus display at 120Hz, and if you do a lot of late night phone scrolling, it has 1920Hz PWM dimming to ensure you don't get eye strain and headaches at low brightness. Not to mention circadian night display that automatically adjusts the screen's color tone according to your body's rhythm. While I really love the brightness that the display pushes and is great for media consumption, the experience is let down by the mono loudspeaker, which by all means isn't a bad mono loudspeaker as it has decent volume and plays clear vocals. But it lacks bass and can get distorted when instruments and vocals are played together. Here's how it sounds like. Powering the Honor X9b is the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1, a mid-range 4nm chip that succeeds the Snapdragon 695, and you get 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. It offers a significant performance boost over its predecessor that can be felt in the real world. I no longer encounter stutters that used to be very obvious on the Honor X9a, and even after a few days of using it, there was no sign of sluggishness or the need to restart the phone. However, it seems like Honor has disabled Wi-Fi 6 on the phone even though the SoC natively supports it, which is a shame as we could have benefited from much faster Wi-Fi download speeds. Graphics performance is also much improved compared to the Snapdragon 695, which you can finally run most graphics demanding games in consistent 30 FPS. While I generally don't have complaints for the Honor X9b's overall user experience, the camera department is where things are slightly disappointing. Though it's not the worst mid-range phone camera I've seen, but it tends to produce muted colors in most of the photos I took even when lighting is sufficient. And to give Honor credit, you do at least get a 5MP ultra-wide camera and a crappy but at least somehow useful 2MP macro camera, which doesn't produce the best in-class image quality, but at least you're not just limited to the main camera when taking photos. Also, the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 chip allows the main camera to shoot 4K videos at 30 FPS, but you're still limited to that unreasonable 10 minutes video length as usual on Honor phones. The front 16MP selfie camera is pretty good but only takes 1080p videos. Battery life is one thing I have to comment on the Honor X9b, which Honor says that it easily lasts up to 3 days of usage, which is pretty accurate in the real world if you are a super lightweight user. Based on my test, the phone lasts 2 days with a combined screen on time of 8 hours while staying connected to 5G. This is easily the longest lasting battery that I've experienced on a mid-range 5G phone. Honor didn't specify the supercharging wattage of the phone, but I assume it is similar to the Honor X9a at 40 watts. It does take a while to juice up the large battery, but it is usually charged to 90% in about 50 minutes. Overall, the Honor X9b is a significant improvement over the Honor X9a in terms of performance and most importantly, the toughness of the display. And despite this, it is priced the same at 1,499 ringgit in Malaysia, which is around $314 US. It is just crazy to see how you don't really need to spend so much money these days to get a really good and durable phone. And Honor is just so confident about the screen that it is offering up to an 180 days screen crack warranty, so even if you really destroy the display by cracking it or whatsoever, they will just replace it with no questions asked. Alright, so that's pretty much about the Honor X9b. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below and be sure to subscribe for more videos and I'll see you guys in the next one.